Before you even think of starting an agency, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because I'm going to show you the 3 pillars of an agency that you must understand before you even get started with it. Otherwise, it might be one of the biggest mistakes that you make. Now, these are the 3 pillars of an agency that a lot of people don't really know about, okay? So the first pillar is called expertise, right? So if you want to start any agency, let's talk about the few agencies that you can start, right? So the ones that are really popular right now are AI, lead gen, and social media marketing, right? So it started with social media marketing a long time ago, and this still plays out right now. And what you have to do as a social media marketing agency is you have to do all the creatives and scripts to get clients more leads through social media, essentially, okay? So you're managing their entire social media marketing, but the result you have to get them is actually leads and clients, all right? The second one is a lead generation style agency, okay? So what you have to do, kind of similar, you get more customers for your clients through paid ads or listings, all right? And then the one that's really popular right now is AI, okay? And AI is really about basically setting up chatbots, agents, and automations for businesses, for entrepreneurs, for clients, so that they can basically save more money, streamline their processes, and make more profit, okay? So these are the 3 big agencies. There are other agencies out there, obviously, but when we're talking about online business, this is generally what people are talking about, okay? So the big problem here is you have to master this expertise. So if you don't have expertise or knowledge in AI or lead gen or social media marketing, you can't start an agency. You have to first learn that. And I think this is the biggest hurdle with agencies, first of all, is that if you're just getting started and you want to start a business online and you don't know what to start, right? You can't start an agency because you don't have these expertise. You have to get knowledgeable on AI, lead gen, or social media marketing, and you got to be really, really good at it. Otherwise, you can't do it for other people as well, okay? So this is the first hurdle. The second hurdle is client acquisition, all right? So now let's just assume that you have the experience and you have the expertise. You can deliver to the clients, right? Maybe you even took 6 months or a year to learn how to do it. Now you have to get clients, all right? And this is actually a really difficult part. A lot of people don't talk about it. So there's a lot of outbound efforts that you need to put in. So there's things like, for example, you have to get on sales calls, literally pick up the phone, call all your local businesses. Maybe you have to figure out which entrepreneurs or which companies might need an agency, and you literally have to physically call them. So it's a lot of work. Second thing is you have to find emails, scrape the internet, find websites, find entrepreneurs, find creators like myself, for example, right? Who might need an agency, scrape all the emails, and then you have to blast the emails. And remember that a lot of them don't reply. I literally get emails all the time, probably 3, 4, 5 a day from agencies trying to help me in all different areas, you know, whether it's YouTube or shorts or managing my entire business, different things like that, right? And then you have to close them, right? So you close them via usually Zoom meetings, or you get on some sort of like phone call with them. You can hire someone to do this. But what a lot of people don't understand about agency work is that it's not just about delivering the expertise. You have to find the clients, all right? And if you can't find the clients and you can't close them, or you're not good at it, you have to either hire someone who is, or you basically can't do this business. This is a very, very big part of the business. Now, let's just say you've acquired a client. Now what happens is you usually have to get them into some sort of package, right? And they'll usually pay you a monthly retainer. It could be $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. And that's one of the benefits, which we'll talk about later, right? Is that this business can be potentially very profitable, but there are a few hurdles that you have to get over, okay? Now, the third and final pillar, which I think that a lot of people don't even realize when you start an agency, is client servicing, okay? You're an agency, right? So it's not just about selling a product or service and then not worrying about them. You literally have to constantly deliver on your service to make sure that you can retain the client. So now you've won their business, but they're not going to necessarily stay with you forever unless you are actually really, really good at what you do, okay? So, hey, real quick before I forget, I just wanted to let you know that I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to make you money, okay? So if money is what you're looking for and you want to grow that way, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because that's all we talk about on this channel. First thing, you have to deliver on the service and results. If you're not getting them results, they're going to quit, right? They're going to cancel, they're going to complain, and you're going to lose that retainer, right? Then the second thing is you have to maintain your client, maintain the relationship. You have to catch up with them. You have to get on calls with them. You have to check in on them, right? Make sure that they're happy with your services, right? And so this can be difficult, because if you figure out the client acquisition acquisition part, right? As you scale and grow and you get more clients, delivering on the service is actually really, really important, because if you have an expertise that you're selling, right? So let's just say whichever one of these, AI, lead gen, or social media marketing. Can you imagine if somebody hires you for lead gen, but you're not getting them enough leads? Let's just say you promise them 50 new customers a day and you're only getting them 10 or 5. It's a lot of pressure on you and the business to deliver. Same as social media marketing, right? Let's just say you promise them, a certain amount of leads, or, you promise that, you would get 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 views per video, that sort of thing. That's a lot of pressure on your business to deliver. I mean, unless you're super duper confident, but you have to understand that that is one of the pressures of running an agency. So now let's talk about the pros and the cons of starting an agency. So the couple of pros right now is that I think one of the reasons why a lot of people start agencies is because the profit margins are really good, right? Especially if you have, let's just say you're charging somebody $1,000 a month to deliver leads to them, and you're very good at delivering leads, then it's $10,000 every single month is recurring, right? That's the nice thing about an agency, is that you get that recurring income, right? And the other thing that is a pro is that there are endless potential clients. So as long as you're good at the client acquisition part, outbound efforts, your sales calls, your emails, your Zoom meetings, and you don't mind doing it yourself initially, or later on maybe you hire sort of like a sales executive or sales manager, right? And they can do it. As long as they're bringing in new business, you can potentially make a lot of money with this particular model, all right? Now let's talk a little bit about the cons, okay? And there's quite a few cons when it comes to an agency, right? So first of all, we spoke about this earlier. You have to have the expertise. If you don't have the expertise in AI, implementation, or you're not good at lead generation, or you're not good at, creating social media posts at all, you're not a creator, you can't become an agency because you don't have the expertise to back your service. So this, I think, is one of the biggest hurdles. The second thing is that building an agency, even though the profit margins are big, right? It's expensive to scale, because the only way that you can really scale an agency is you must hire and pay staff salaries. It's the only way, all right? So if you start an agency by yourself, you could probably manage maybe a handful of clients, but beyond that, you have to hire people because your time is going to be limited. You can't be doing everything, right? That means you can't be delivering to the clients, you can't be doing the sales calls, you can't be doing the outreach, you can't be doing the servicing and delivery. There's just too many things, right? So in order for you to run a successful agency, you must hire staff. And if you hire staff, you have to pay them full-time salaries, right? And so that builds into the cost of the business. And it's okay if you want to run a big business with a lot of headcount, but just understand that the agency style business is that kind of business, okay? It's kind of like an online, offline business, right? So that means you can get clients online, you can deliver online, but you have to run it offline. You have to manage staff, you have to manage personalities, you have to build it out, you have to pay them salaries, you got to pay them insurance, all that kind of stuff, right? It runs like a traditional business, which a lot of people don't realize, okay? Difficult to acquire and close clients is a problem. So if you're not good at sales, if you're not good at outreach, if you don't hire the right person, maybe you have to go through a few closers, you have to go through a few sales executives to get the right sales executives that can close for you. It's a problem to close and acquire, because this is really the bottleneck, right? You got to reach out to people. It's very competitive, and you have to pitch them. You have to sit down with them. You got to get on a Zoom call with them, right? And convince them why you are the person to, work with them and take their money, basically, right? Then you got to manage all your clients effectively. So let's just imagine that you get really good at this, and now you've got like 30 clients or 40 clients. You're making pretty good money now, right? But you got to manage all of them. That means you have to make sure that your processes internally, your SOPs, are so tight that everything is running like a well-oiled machine, which I think is very, very difficult for agencies, honestly, because I work with a few agencies, and I have over the years, and I've worked with some really shit agencies, and I've worked with a couple of really good ones, right? And I know that managing their processes and SOPs and their clientele is one of the most difficult things, because if you get pretty big, it can be quite difficult, okay? You would probably need to hire someone just to run that entire operation alone, right? And then the last one is you must deliver or you lose your clients. Seriously, right? You have to deal with a lot of complaints. If you suck at delivering your service, you gotta, be ready to deal with a lot of client complaints, right? And if you're not performing, low performance is a problem. You're going to lose people. They're going to move to somebody else. They're going to take away their business, because why would any entrepreneur or business owner want to pay an agency money when they're not getting those results, okay? So these are the things that you should consider before starting an agency, just so that you understand that there are quite a few things that you need to keep in mind, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I know people that run agencies. I see them all the time. And if you're okay with all of these things right here, and you understand that these are the 3 pillars that you have to get good at before you start an agency, then it can be a pretty cool business as long as you're okay with running a big team and scaling that way, because not everybody necessarily wants to build that kind of business. For example, me, I didn't want to have that kind of business. I wanted to be kind of like a one-man show and maybe have, a team of freelancers that work with me, use a lot of automation, a lot of software, a lot of funnels, a lot of videos, stuff like that, where I didn't necessarily have to be out there managing a team, because I used to be in corporate for 10 years and I managed 14 people and it was a headache, right? You got to deal with personalities, pay salaries, you got to promote them over the years. There's a lot of stuff that you have to think about if you want to run that kind of business. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you need to understand what you're getting yourself into when you start an agency. So I prefer simplicity, right? I think one of the better businesses compared to an agency, especially if this is not something that, after you've watched this video, like, maybe I need to kind of reconsider, is I like stuff that's very, very simple, very lean, very profitable, a lot of automation. You can run it with just kind of like a skeleton crew, one maybe virtual assistant, or you can start with none. And when you scale, you can hire a couple of freelancers. Is basically selling digital products online. That's my wheelhouse. That's how I made millions online. And if you would like to check that out and you don't know anything about it and you'd like to learn exactly how to get started, I've got a free masterclass that will show you step by step how to do that. If you want, in the comment section below, let me know what you thought of this video. I hope you got some value, right? Whatever you decide to do, obviously it's up to you, but I'm just here to teach you, educate you, and help you to make more money. See you in the next one.